Maldivian atheist arrested and tortured while in custody. In the Maldives, Maldivian atheist Rushtum Russo was first arrested on September 10th, 2019, and is still in police custody. Sources informed Ladhini.com that Rushtum was arrested after he asked the Maldives police service for protection from the religious extremists on his island who were giving him death threats. He was subsequently released for a few days in March 2020, but was arrested again due to continued complaints about him. The prominent cases against him are for, quote, trying to disrupt religious unity and blasphemy. Authorities subjected him to mental evaluations due to his apostasy. Other news sources in the Maldives report that Rushtum was first arrested for organizing a gathering against religion in Thingadhu, where he was speaking to youth and criticizing religion, and for publicly opposing religion on Twitter. Maldivian apostates and quote-unquote blasphemers like Rushtum are particularly vulnerable as they live on small islands where there is literally nowhere to run. So
Maldives is literally hell for ex-Muslims. It's like, and it's like it's amazing that such a country that is treated like as a heaven for tourists, it like literally looks like heaven for tourists, and yet it's like right behind like the tourist sections are people living in under the most extreme laws on the planet. So it's crazy how you could have both, side by side. And some people, the tourist experience of Maldives is very, very different from the experience people have living there. But go on. Rivka, wanted to say something? No.
No, I was just thinking about that. Like, I didn't know years ago how horrible it was for non-believers in the Maldives. All I ever knew about is how gorgeous it was. And you're right. It's this thing that so many people do not know. They only see it as this absolutely gorgeous resort, exquisite environment, but not the suffering of the people who actually live there.
Yeah, they have done a very amazing job at separating, like, how you have you know what reminds me, in Islam, when you go to heaven, you get to the people in hell, right? They get to see into heaven, and so that when they're so thirsty and burning, they could see people in heaven having, like, drinking wine and honey and milk, and they could see into heaven and the beautiful lives they're having. But the people in heaven, so that they do not disturb, they can't see into hell, so that their mood is not ruined, right? And this is basically very much like Maldives to me, like basically the Islamic version of heaven and hell, because all these people in Maldives who live there, they could see these tourists coming and enjoying Maldives and enjoying the beauty and living such lives. But the tourists there, the government there has done a very good job at separating, and they come and they never notice what the people there are living like. Susanna, you want to say something?
Yeah, so this news is a little bit old. The story was from August, but it was brought to my attention by a Maldivian atheist, and I wanted to highlight it because we don't talk about the Maldives very frequently, and people, again, don't know about the reality of people who live there. And it's not specifically for atheists, it's just for apostates, right? You can apostatize and become a Christian. You're still going to have a lot of problems there. And I should highlight, my understanding of this case is that he was asking the police for protection, and they arrested him because of that. Or like that, maybe not because of that, but that prompted them to arrest him. When he was like, hey guys, I'm being threatened. And they're like, oh no, we're going to arrest you though. Deborah is saying, so Deborah is ex-Islamic fundamentalist who was a part of Hizb Tahrir, which is trying to establish.
She's ex-Muslim and ex-Christian at the same time.
Yes. but for those who don't know, that's a group that is trying to reestablish the Khalifa. And so she was saying we were wishing to make an Islamic state there when she was.
By the way, do people know? People know that Maldives is an Islamic country, right? Like
I don't think your like typical American would know that. No.
Really? Okay.
Most people don't.
Really? Okay.
In my experience,
I would say that most people do not realize that, and they definitely don't talk about it in the Condé Nast travel guide where they show you the infinity pool hotel or whatever.
Okay. But so they have, Maldives has done such an amazing evil job at being so Islamic, as give you such an Islamic experience to the locals there, and yet have separated Islam from the tourist industry so much that most people don't even know they're stepping into an Islamic country, and they are so separated from having an Islamic experience when they go to do tourism over there that they don't even recognize that they're in an Islamic country. That's how effective the Maldives is taking advantage of tourism while enforcing Islamic laws on its citizens. This is like Saudi Arabia's dream come true. Saudi Arabia's like wet dream is to make it like seem like a non-Islamic image to the whole world. Maldives has like mastered that art. Amazing.
Yeah, and Deborah is saying I only found out when she was a Hizbi, when she was part of Hizb Tahrir.
Yeah, I think the majority of people, if you ask them, like, so what's the religion of the Maldives? They're like, I don't know, some island religion, like, honestly, that's probably, it would never even occur to them, the majority of people who see these photographs in the Sky Mall magazine or the Condé Nast Traveler, or, that's all they know about it really, is the tourist aspect of it. And it's this island and it's gorgeous and could go there on your honeymoon. But I wanted to say to your point about like he went to the police for protection and they arrested him. That's actually a very common thing I've seen happen in Muslim majority or Islamic countries, even like supposedly, the soft Islam like Morocco, we had incidences of that where women were being attacked or chased or accused of things, and they would go to the police and the police would arrest them, so that's a common occurrence I've noticed in a lot of these Islamic countries where someone is supposedly violating some either religious prohibition or socio-religious prohibition. And when they go to the authorities for help, they end up being arrested instead.
And subscribe! Everyone! Every single one of you is watching! Subscribe! Do it now! Do it now!